Hello, this is Matt from tracyandmatt.co.uk, and here I have the new LG Chocolate BL20. I'm going to just do a quick unbox and tour for you of the handset itself. You may recall that we actually saw the BL40 not too long ago, and this is kind of the newer, slightly lower model of the new Chocolate range. This one being a slider, whereas the BL40 was kind of fixed length and slightly unusual form factor and resolution. So fairly much in keeping with the BL40 design, we have the red pieces at the end and kind of a slick looking handset. I'm going to look at that in a bit more detail in just a second. Just want to have a look at what else is supplied in the box. So we do have a charger, wall charger, standard UK 3-pin, and then we have the micro USB style connector on the other end. We then have a set of headphones, or a headset in actual fact. So that has a micro USB connector on one end, length of cable, then there is this clip so we can clip it onto clothing. The inline microphone can be disconnected, so you can see that there. It does have a push button, no volume control, but there is a tiny little microphone, and then a 3.5mm headphone connector on the end there. It does allow us to use this as an adapter to use our own headphones, or use our own headphones in combination with this to make a wired headset. And then we do have the headphones themselves. There is a shorter piece of cable because obviously it's designed to work with the inline microphone. And then we do have the headphones themselves. These are kind of cheaper and cheerful, I guess is the best way to describe them. Very plastic and very lightweight. Not particularly good headphones. I mean, they're okay for supplied, but I'm sure you're going to want to use your own favourite headphones rather than the ones supplied. We do have a micro USB to USB, or USB to micro USB sync and charge cable. That's kind of a standard item, nothing special about it. Then we do have the user guide. So that's the user guide in there, which is kind of thin, not much reading to be done there. Then there is this 8cm CD-ROM. Doesn't say what's on it, but I assume that's going to be kind of a full manual in PDF format. And last of all, in the bottom is just a bag. It's a return recycle bag. It's something that O2 are sort of providing at the moment. So that's everything we have in the box itself. If we look at the handset, on the front we have a 2.4-inch display, which is 240 by 320 pixels. So that's quarter VGA, and it's a 262,000 colour display. Not bad at all. Underneath that we have a touch sensitive area, which we'll look at in just a second. On the left hand side we have a cover over the micro USB sync charge connector, and obviously where we also plug in our headphones. Sadly, there is no 3.5mm headphone connector on the device itself, which is a bit of a, I think that's a bit of a shame. I would really like to see more and more devices with 3.5mm headphone connectors. I think the reason perhaps that it's not on here is that a 3.5mm headphone connector would take up a fair amount of room where you have this sliding mechanism. There wouldn't be room for it on the top, possibly room for it on the bottom, but I think perhaps that's why it's not included. Nothing really to see on the bottom. There's just a tiny hole under the breakpoint there, which I guess is the microphone. On the right hand side there is a dedicated camera button and an up and down volume control push button there as well. On the top, nothing really apart from the tiny little power button there that you can see, and not an awful lot else. On the back we have a 5-megapixel autofocus camera. It does also have a flash, which is good to see. And the back is extremely shiny, so if you wanted to take yourself portraits, you could probably see your own reflection in the back, enough to do that. Underneath we have a micro SD card slot, which it just opens up like so, and you obviously pop your micro SD card in there. There isn't one supplied now, obviously looking at a PR model. Whether or not the full retail version does come with the micro SD card, I'm not 100% sure. SIM card is already in place because this is an O2 PR model, and our battery just pops in like so. That's already in place. The battery is, let's see what the capacity is if it's listed. The battery is 900 milliamp hours. So that's pops back in like so. Kind of small capacity. So we just need to power up to have a look. Actually, interestingly, that button at the top doesn't switch the device on. You hold it down, that won't turn it on. In actual fact, the power button is inside. we hold that power button down, it will come on. But at the top just toggles the backlight on and off, kind of into sleep mode. So while we're just starting up, let me just run down the rest of the spec. It is tri-band for GSM, so voice is going to work most places, and dual band for HSDPA. 5 megapixel camera I've already mentioned. As you can see, the display underneath, or the keys underneath, do illuminate. If I just toggle that back on, do illuminate underneath. This is all a completely touch sensitive area, so you can toggle up and down, and you can actually scroll through the display. Every time you touch the buttons down the bottom here, there is sort of a haptic feedback, a little bit of a vibrate from inside, which is quite cool. Dimensions: 106mm from top to bottom, just under 51mm wide, and just over 12mm thick. Quite lightweight as well, only 115 grams. Not a bad looking handset. Also, we do have that sliding keypad there. Keys are completely flat, and they're not totally individual. They're basically three keys on one row, if you like, there, that sort of do press. It's sort of more like a membrane style keyboard or keypad. There is a tactile feedback. They do click, but I think that single-handed texting might be a little more difficult because they're not individual keys, so finding your way around might be a little bit more difficult. Not terrible, but yeah, possibly a little bit more difficult. The keys do actually illuminate. I don't know if you can really see that on the video there, because obviously it's quite bright here. But the keys do have a backlight, so you can see them in the dark. And send and then phone keys are underneath, and there's a cancel button. So fairly flat. Obviously, they need to sign on the mechanism. The mechanism is nice and fluid, and it's positive. It sort of positively clicks in and out of place. So that's quite good. It's actually telling me that I need to insert a SIM card. I do have one installed, so I'm not sure why it's saying that. But because this is an O2 model, obviously there's the O2 branding, and it refers to O2 Home. It's saying that I can't get a connection at the moment, so not to worry about that. You can go into My Stuff, and it shows you images, videos, sounds, games, applications, and so on. And back out of there, we can go into the menu, and it brings up just like a basic menu, very similar to the likes of the other LG models that we've seen recently. Backlight timeout period seems a little bit low, or a bit short, so, although I'm sure that we could actually change the backlight timeout if we wanted to through the settings. We can bring up the speed dialer here, so we can actually assign different speed dials here, and it works kind of like a Rolodex, where we can actually scroll through these people that we have on display here. So they're our most frequently used, and we can also go into the main menu or the quick menu, and we've got things like games in here, Sudoku, mini golf, and we can download more games. And we can also go back and bring up the full menu, which is again fairly typical for an LG handset. And let's go into settings and see if we can change the screen backlight timeout. Yeah, backlight duration 10 seconds. I think that needs to be nearer to 30. And the brightness is actually already at 100%. Yeah, it's fairly bright. I mean, but although I would expect it to go a little bit higher than that. I wouldn't have thought this was sort of is bright enough for 100% brightness, but it's not. It's not terrible by any means. We can go into camera on here also, and we can launch the camera. And let's just grab the headphones, and we'll take a quick snap of those. There we go. It's not too bad. The quality isn't bad. I think it's slightly let down by the image there is slightly let down by the resolution of the screen rather than the camera itself. It does look clear enough, but obviously we only do have a quarter VGA display, so 240 by 320 pixels is all we have there to actually display that. So that's perhaps why that doesn't look as good as it should. We can come back out of there and go back, and then we've got organizer, we've got O2 stuff, tools, music, calls, and Yahoo. And we can go into music, see if we've got anything already on there. We have a built-in FM radio, obviously, as you can see there, and we can see if there's any songs. No songs already on here, so often there is a song or two actually on the device, but apparently not. And last of all, let's go into messaging. In messaging, we have our inbox, mailbox, sent items, and so on. And backlight is still timing out in less than 30 seconds, despite me setting it to 30 seconds, so it's obviously a setting that I've missed there. But that is a very quick tour around the LG BL20, or the new chocolate as they're calling it, the BL20. We'll have a full review for you over the next couple of weeks on tracyandmatt.co.uk. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. On Twitter we are Tracy and Matt. Definitely worth following us. We're running a competition to win the fantastic Motorola milestone at the moment, so definitely worth following us. And as I say, the review will be on tracyandmatt.co.uk over the next couple of weeks. If you've missed any of that information, just check out the title page of this video for all the URLs that you could possibly need.